I found this so interesting, your quote from Nietzsche, who wrote about how people can identify their calling in life. He wrote, "The way to discover what you were put on earth for is to go back into your past, list the times you felt most fulfilled, and then see if you can draw a line through them. What have you truly loved thus far? What has ever uplifted your soul? What has dominated and delighted it at the same time? Assemble these revered objects in a row before you, and perhaps they will reveal a law by their nature and their order, the fundamental law of your very self."
Yeah.
I've always said, if you look back at your life and connect the dots, there's a pattern of the things that made you feel fulfilled.
Yeah, I love that.
This is the same thing he's saying, right?
I love that line, the
Yes.
law of your very self.
So when you did this exercise.
Yes.
What did you find out about yourself?
I find how aesthetic it is, that, like, I read a book when I was 7 called Paddington the Bear. And at that moment, I wanted to become a writer. And it was just because I loved the feel of it. I have a quote in there from Annie Dillard, who was interviewing a painter. She said, "Why did you go into painting?" And the woman just said, "I love the smell of paint."
Yeah.
Some people, you just find that thing where you feel at home and trust the aesthetic sensibility of it.
Well, one of my favorite lines, you write so beautifully all the time. On page 115, you write, "We bury the faint crackling of our inner fire underneath other safer noises." I'm going to say that again because it's so beautifully written. We bury the faint crackling of our inner fire underneath other safer noises and settle for a false life.
Yeah.
So how do we teach children and young people not to bury the fire?
Yeah. Well, one thing is we can do, put some rules around the phones.
Yeah.
'Cause I think about
There has to be
how we
rules.
communicate. We're talking about the heart and soul. How much heart and soul communication happens through a screen, through the phone when we're texting? I have a friend, he has a rule for himself. Every morning before he looks at a screen, he goes outside and looks at the sky for a few minutes. Just to, okay, I'm gonna look up. And then he has a rule where he's gonna take 1 hour a day, 1 day a week, I think, week a year, no screens, just Sabbath. He's gonna create Sabbaths. So that's one of the things I think we can do.